So hello and welcome to a new video from CircuitDigest. In this webinar series, we have a very special guest with us. We have Mihir Kedar from CerebroSpark Limited. So he is the co-founder of this company, and this company prides in making an indigenous BLDC drones. So without further ado, let's start and hear from Mihir. So hi Mihir, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, Sharath. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for asking. So Mihir, could you please tell me more about your company CerebroSpark and what are the visions by which you started the company?
Okay, so I'll start how the idea came into our mind.
Mhm.
So when I was in first year, we started working on drones and drone technology, and we completed a lot of projects.
Okay.
But later we realized that most of the projects and most of the companies in India, they are dependent on the Chinese drone market. Like either they are dependent on the Chinese drone market for drones or their components or parts like motors, controllers, ESCs, etc. That was a time when we realized that something should be done to indigenously develop these things in India. That is why we came up with the idea of CerebroSpark Innovations, where we are making indigenous drone systems for different applications. Now, the word CerebroSpark, it is a very amazing story. So when we started doing our project, we were 9 of us.
Okay.
So me and Ganesh, and with us 6 other members were there.
Okay.
But unfortunately, they couldn't continue with us for the project, and they had to leave. Later, when we thought of incorporating our company, Ganesh and I, we were thinking of some name for the company.
Okay.
And that time, CerebroSpark came into our mind. So CerebroSpark, if we break it down, it means cerebro, that means the brain, and
Right.
spark. And other thing is that CerebroSpark is a combination of 2 words, like I told you. And the company again is founded by me and Ganesh Tora.
Okay.
So 2 founders, 2 words coming together, making one company. So that was the whole story of it. And currently we are working on different types of drones. We are making them indigenously,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's the whole thing. We are also like we are into manufacturing
Mm-hmm.
as well as providing services.
Okay.
So these are the 2 segments which we are working on.
Okay. So coming to the questions. So as you said that you are into manufacturing as well as providing services. So could you please elaborate what kind of services you provide and what are the products of your company?
Yeah, so I'll start with the products. We majorly have 2 products as of now. Our first product is CS Pride.
Okay.
CS Pride is India's first BLDC nano category drone. So
Okay.
nano category means that the weight of the drone is less than 250 grams.
Okay.
So the significance of that is you don't require any licensing registration to fly that drone. Anyone can
Okay.
fly it without any hassle. And if you break down Pride, the word Pride, it is a personal remotely operated Indian drone entity.
Okay.
So even if we are selling our CS Pride in the international market, the Indian word will always be associated with it. So that was the first product which we are going to launch in the month of December. The other one is CS Mamba.
Mm-hmm.
It is a heavy duty quadcopter drone with a payload capacity of 5.6 kgs.
Okay.
So this drone can be used for delivery purposes, for
Mm-hmm.
disaster management, surveillance, and many other applications.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the 2 products, and we have other products also, but I will not be disclosing them right now. Coming to the services part, again, we work in 2 segments in services. One is the customized drone service,
Okay.
in which we make drones as per the requirement of our client.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a client, I will not say the name,
Okay.
but his requirement was to make a drone which is to be used for internal wall cleaning of his
Okay.
factory. So that's where we pitched in and we gave him an idea of how he could do it with drone technology. He really liked the idea and he asked us to get started with the research and development and manufacturing of the drone.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one of the segment.
Okay.
And the other segment in services is we provide normal aerial shoots, mapping, and we take such contracts in which we either do the surveillance, air surveillance, do the shooting, do the mapping, or maybe social events where we use drones to make a social impact. Like if you must have seen our Ganpati wala video,
Right.
and another videos were there in which we were dropping flowers using our drone. So
Mhm.
such type of services we provide.
Okay, that's pretty interesting, and that's a lot of things you are trying to do. So I'll just break down the questions in few parts because first I can see that you used your drone for Ganpati, carrying Ganpati, and then you are also using it for surveillance. So first I'll come to the Ganpati idle question. So that shows that you are trying to go for like using your drone for drone delivery things. So are you designing any specific kind of drones which for any specific purpose? And did any company reach out to you for drone delivery, or do you have any plans in mind?
So I'll answer this step by step.
Mhm.
So the idea of carrying the Ganpati idol on the drone, it was very sudden, and we were just thinking how we can make something which no one has ever tried,
Right.
like lifting Ganpati using a drone. I don't think anyone in India or the world has ever tried that.
Right.
So we were thinking of that sort of thing, and again, suddenly one of our team members, uh, they gave us this idea: कि we can use a drone to carry the Ganpati from one place to another. And this idea, everyone liked this idea, so we decided, कि let's do this. So we had to make certain adjustments in our drone. The drone which was used was CS Mamba,
Okay.
so we had to make a lot of adjustments in the design part, because when we mount the Ganpati on the top of it, we had to make sure that the Ganpati doesn't fall off,
Right.
because there are a lot of sentiments attached to it.
Yes.
Other thing was the propellers. We had to mount them upside down, because if we are mounting it on the upper side,
Mhm.
they could hit the idle. So again, we had to make changes in that.
Mhm.
So after doing that, we successfully completed that our whatever we I don't know what to call it, but yeah, we successfully completed the task, and it was a good
Right.
activity. Coming to the other question which you asked, that if we are looking for a delivery type of a system in the drone, we actually are. CS Mamba, it is a multi-purpose drone in which delivery is an application, and it can be used for that. Currently, the product is not launched yet. We are still developing it. We are making its effectiveness even more, and soon we will be launching the completed product, and maybe then we can think of actually delivering goods with it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
So as you've said that you have two kinds of drone as of now, and apart from that, few in the pipeline which you are making or is in the research phase. So can you please tell us more about your CS Pride and CS Mamba, about its specifications and features?
Definitely. So CS Mamba, like I told you, it is personal remotely operated Indian drone entity. It
Mhm.
is a nano category drone, weighs less than 250 grams.
Mhm.
So it is basically an import substitute of the Chinese drones,
Okay.
which are being used in India. So the basic application of this CS Pride is surveillance and photography. Now we are providing a 4K live stream camera.
Okay.
We are giving it 35 minutes of endurance,
Mhm.
and we are also giving multiple flight modes. So one can easily fly it, even if a person who has not flown any drone before, he will be able to fly CS Pride without any difficulties. And just in case if he's not able to fly it only, we are also giving autonomous flight. So all he has to do is mark up based on the Google Maps. The drone will automatically take off, follow that path, and it will complete the mission and again land back from where it had taken off.
Okay.
Then, along with that, we are also providing waterproof drone. That is, CS Pride will be waterproof. Now, a lot of times in rainy seasons, slight drizzling may occur while flying the drone, and this will damage the drone a lot. But in case of CS Pride, we have completely eradicated that part, and one can easily fly it in rains as well. The other thing is when you're flying above a water body, and in case the drone crashes or some malfunction occurs, the drone falls in the water. In our case, even if drone falls in the water or puddle, the internal damage will be zero because it is waterproof. So these are the type of features which we have added to CS Pride, which is making it better and reasonable in comparison to the Chinese drones. This was about CS Pride.
Okay.
Coming to CS Mamba, it is again, I told you, it is a heavy duty quadcopter drone with a payload capacity of 5.6 kgs.
Mhm.
So again, in this, our innovation is that if you see the other drones which are being used in the market, they are used for one application only, like one drone, one application. But in our case, CS Mamba, you can use one drone for multiple applications. Now, if you want to use it for surveillance, you can just attach a camera module. There will be multiple attachments, like a camera module, like a spraying system, like a seed throwing system, like a delivery system. So you can just change the attachment, and the drone will be can be used for a different application.
Okay.
So these are the points which we actually innovated in CS Mamba.
Oh, that's really great. In case Mamba, you told about the applications that it can be used for different applications, and you need a different kind of attachment. Do you provide attachment? Do you make your own attachment, or is it
Yes,
readily
yes,
available in the market?
yes. We make our own attachments.
Okay, that's pretty great. So, as far as I know, both of your drones are in nano category.
No, CS Pride is a nano category drone,
Mhm.
and CS Mamba is a small category drone. That means the weight of the drone is less than 1.5 kgs.
Okay, and it has a payload capacity of 5.6 kgs.
Yes.
Oh, that's really great. And could you also please tell us about the like how far it can fly, the range of the drone, and range of the receiver and transmitter? So signal
Yeah.
range.
So if you see CS Pride, we have built it as per the DGCA rules and regulations.
Mhm.
Now, DGCA says that you can fly it only without any permission. You can fly it in a closed environment, that is line of sight, and there is a limitation over there. So we have added a limitation to CS Pride of around 150 meters, and the height is 50 meters, which can be adjusted. It is all software oriented, so we can change that to 2 kilometers and 500 meters.
And what about CS
And
Mamba?
CS Mamba, the range, yeah, CS Mamba, it has a range of 2 kilometers, which can be extended up to 5 kilometers,
Okay.
and it can be around 500 meters to 1 kilometer.
Oh, the range is pretty impressive. And could you also please tell me about the flying time for how long it can fly, the duration of the flight of both the drones?
Yeah. So CS Pride, it has an endurance of 35 minutes,
Mhm.
and CS Mamba, it has an endurance of 30 minutes, but we are working on increasing that to around an hour.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. The drones are pretty impressive. So now coming to as you say that you are an indigenous company or develop everything or use everything which has been developed in India. So what about the
Right.
chassis, the software and other parts like motors or ESC? Do you develop all these things in-house or do you
Yeah.
procure it from Indian manufacturers?
So we are actually procuring it from the Indian manufacturers. We have made an agreement with different manufacturers of motors, of chassis, etc. And we have made the agreement in such a way that they are only using Indian products to make these things. So we are not depending on the Chinese market for any type of uh, component which is being used in our drones. So right from motors to controllers, everything we are using Indian made.
Okay, that's
So
pretty
our
great.
vision of our company is actually the vision of our company is actually to eradicate and remove the dependency of India on the Chinese drone market. Because if you see the Chinese drone market, the Indian drone market, it is growing at a very high speed. But if it is dependent on the Chinese drone market, the Chinese drone market is actually growing, not the Indian drone market. So that is why we have decided to come up with Indian products only.
Okay, that's pretty great. And what about the software that is used in your drones? Like you use it for navigation or like even for surveillance. So is it developed in-house or is it like Do you purchase it
Yes.
from a company or is it a freeware?
No. We have developed our software ourselves. We have a team of engineers with us working, and we are developing the software ourselves.
Oh, that's really great. So now I think every part is from like India, but coming to batteries, it is obviously from China because we don't have battery manufacturing capability, like large scale battery manufacturing capabilities in India. So probably you must be using a lithium ion battery or something. So currently the situation is that the cost of battery has overshooted by 20-30% due to the energy crisis in China. So is it affecting your sales and is it affecting the cost of your drones?
It is affecting, and currently we are into the prototyping phase, so that is why we are using the Chinese battery. But we have an agreement with Indian battery manufacturer
Okay.
who has agreed to develop our specifications of the battery,
Okay.
and we will be starting the manufacturing in a few weeks of time. So I don't think Chinese uh, energy crisis will affect our drone price. It will definitely affect the R&D cost, but it will not affect the actual price of the drone.
Okay, that's great. So everything from battery to the controller to software, everything is in-house or from an Indian company. So that's really great. Apart from that, you also told us about the usage of drones in surveillance and in traffic management and disaster management. In fact, previously you were turning heads with these innovative ideas and had like you had covered a lot of news headlines and spotlight because of these like ideas. So could you please tell us more about the kind of sensors you'll be using and the software, and apart from that, like what kind of algorithm you'll be using? Will you be developing your own algorithm or is it already in the process, like you'll be clubbing with another company to develop the algorithm?
Okay, so coming to these projects which you just mentioned, that is traffic management was there, virtual doctor was there, surveillance and all. So these projects we started as an engineering project. They are not they are not closed up. We are still working on them, but we have put them on a slight hold because the infrastructure which is required to deploy these drones, it is not yet available in India. So, for example, if I tell you that if we use a drone for traffic management, and suppose a drone with signals, visual and audio signals, is trying to communicate with you as a driver, do you think you will be actually listening to that drone? Because if a person violates such a thing, we don't have those many cameras, those many sensors with the traffic police department to actually capture and make sure that everyone is listening to these drones. Second part is that when these drones are flying in the city, you'll require a control room for these drones. You will require proper permissions from the DGCA and local police that you're flying a 1.5 kg drone. Now, in case that drone crashes, because there could be multiple reasons why a drone crashes. Suppose a bird comes and strikes that drone, and the drone falls on someone's head, who will be responsible? So these limitations were there. That is why we had to put these projects on hold. We are still developing and trying to make these drones effective and actually ready for use. But there are different aspects which we still have to think on before actually deploying these drones. So we conducted real-time testing with the Pimpri-Chinchwad Smart City, that is near Pune itself, and we spoke with the RTO authorities. We spoke with the traffic police, and we actually conducted a small demonstration and just to do the testing, which was pretty successful. But that was under ideal situations. So there were police officers standing around, so people were actually listening, and there were no disruptions in the process. But in real time scenarios, there could be multiple, like millions of different obstacles that can come in such working. So that is why we are still developing. We're still thinking of different ways to overcome these problems, and I hope very soon we'll be able to get these products in the market.
That's great. All the best for your endeavor and like all the new upcoming ideas. So now recently in August, a couple of months back, our Ministry of Civil Aviation came up with a new drone policy. So how is it
Right.
affecting a drone manufacturer like yourself or other drone manufacturers in India? And is it any good for indigenous drone manufacturer? Apart from that, since you are in a development phase, if I'm not wrong, so do you have to make any changes or you had to make any changes because of the new policies?
I'll say no to that question. We don't have to do any type of changes. The good thing with these new drone policies is that a developer, basically a startup or a student who is developing drones, these rules have made it very easy for him to procure material to actually do the testing of it without any permissions required. So it has given a boost and given a platform to all the new players in the market so that they can develop this technology even more. Now, if you see the market size, recently there was an article by Times of India that said that from 2021, that is this year, the drone market size is around 60 crore. And by 23-24, like 2023-2024, the market size is going to increase up to 900 crores.
Okay.
So these rules have definitely given a boost, and a lot of companies which are working on drone technology, they have come up. They are doing the testing for different types of drones. Maybe in future, in coming 4, 5, 6 years, we'll be able to see drone taxis in the market, and maybe those drone taxis will be indigenously made. So it has given a really good platform, and it has supported all the people who are working on drones. Secondly, new incubation centers have been opened for specifically for drone startups who are manufacturing or giving services in drone technology. Again, this will increase the uh, it will scale up the market, and it will also give an advancement to drone technology.
Oh, that's great. So the drone like the industry will increase by 1500% in just 2 years. That's a massive jump
Right.
from 60 crores to
Right.
900 crore. That is a massive jump.
Yes.
Apart from that, like I also had another part in the question about the policies. So can you just list out a few points about the policies? What are the changes? What are the new regulations compared to the previous one? And what regulations will affect a normal flyer or a newbie like me? Suppose if I want to purchase a drone and fly it. So, are there any specific points which I should know about this new policy?
Yes, there are a few points which you should be very careful about. Now, the first point is that you should be knowing all the no-fly zone. Now, flying your drone in the no-fly zone is strictly prohibited, and there is a penalty of I think a lakh of rupees for that. Now, the good thing is that the new rules and regulations, they have decreased the radius of no-fly zone. So earlier, when a complete city was under the no-fly zone, now only half of that city is considered as no-fly zone. So it is a very good thing because people can now fly the drones. The second is nano category and micro category drones. They don't require a license or permission to fly if you're flying in no fly zone or green zone. These are the 2 points which an individual should be knowing. The other points regarding the manufacturers and service providers is that if you are a startup and if you are doing research and development on drones, then you don't require any type of licensing, any type of registration to do the testing of the drone. So earlier, what you had to do is you had to take a permission and you had to register a drone, even if that drone was not ready for the market. Even if the drone was a prototype, you had to do the registration of that drone. Now that compliance, that limitation has been taken off because honestly, we as students, when we started this, like registering our drone was a very tedious thing to do. So instead of doing that, we would actually give up and do some other project. Now this rule, it has taken off that part from a student's life and a startup's life, that you have to run for permissions and for compliances before you actually start working on a drone. So it is a very good step to increase the productivity of startup and to increase the development of these drone technology. So these are the few points which were changed in the new drone policies as compared to the other.
So that's like you elucidated me quite a bit. So now, as you said that nano categories and micro category drones don't require license, or so probably that is the reason you built your CS Pride in a or tried building it in a nano category drone. Apart from that,
Right.
what other features and what other benefits a nano category drone have over larger drones in terms of control capability or the range? So could you
Okay.
please elucidate me on that thing as well?
Yes, definitely. I'll like if you see a nano category drone, which are available in the market. These drones they are small in size, they are lighter in weight, but the capacity of these drones, like the processing capacity, is not up to the mark. Now, CS Pride, we have built it in such a way that it is a toy category drone. Basically, it is like a toy, but it is so capable and so advancedly built that you can actually perform industrial applications using this drone. Now, in industrial application, I am not saying that it can lift a payload of 1 kg, but it can take images, it can do surveillance, which is which is in 4K resolution, which can be used by industrial people to do the surveillance of their factories. To actually, it can be used by police to do the surveillance and take photographies and maintain law and order. So these type of things can be done with CS Pride. Coming to the advantages of a nano category over larger category drone is that the nano category is easily portable. So you can fold the drone, keep it in your pocket, and just move around with it. The other part is the nanocatic drone. They are less harmful to people. Like in case the drone falls on someone, it will not damage or be fatal for that person. But in case a larger drone, it falls on someone, the damage will be quite crucial. The handling part, the endurance, the handling part is same as the larger drones. There is no much difference in that. The endurance, again, I cannot comment on that because different drones have different endurances. So let's not get into that specification.
Yeah, sure. So now, as you told me before that you started your company when you were in college. Actually, you are still in college. You are in your fourth year, and that is commendable because it is pretty difficult to do multiple things at the same time, especially while pursuing your degree. So, could you please tell us more about the journey? How difficult it was? How did you manage your time, and how did you manage the resources? Apart from that, what all challenges did you face in
Mhm.
bringing up the company and starting up your own company and managing the studies as well as family and everything? So could you please tell us more about that?
Definitely. Definitely. So it is a very nice question. It will help a lot of budding entrepreneurs, innovators. And so when I started, I was in first year. Luckily, I had good support from my teachers and my parents. And so when I started this, there was a time constraint coming that we had exams coming up. We had to demonstrate our product to different people. So it was a very difficult situation for me. But when we say that where there's a will, there's a way. So something of that sort happened with me. So I'll just narrate a story which a real story which happened with us. So during the month of December end, we first project we were we were working on that, and we success like after 6 months of research and development, one month of procuring the material, we actually assembled the whole drone. And the first flight, it was perfect. Like it was just amazing. And like during the first flight, only me, Ganesh, and a few members were present over there, members of the team. So later we decided to charge the battery and show it to our guide, like college project guide. So after charging the battery, we called him, and when he arrived at the spot where we were going to fly the drone, we flew it and it crashed. So in front of our faculties, the drone just crashed into pieces. So that was a time we felt really bad and we felt discouraged. But there was a will that we have to again build this drone from scratch. So that night we sat building this drone around 9 p.m. and by 2:30, 3 o'clock in the night, we were able to complete the whole assembly, and we took a flight. And again, we got a nice flight. Next day was our exam. It was a very difficult time, but luckily you have to focus on something. Either you can be a bookworm, just study without doing any project or without innovating anything, you'll get a job offer. No doubt you'll get a job offer. But doing a project will give you confidence. You will actually use your skills, like the things you have learned in your college, and you will apply these things, these knowledge in a real time application. So I think the purpose of engineering is to actually use knowledge to use applied knowledge where you are applying it to some of the project. So the question which you asked me, that how to manage time, is that during the lectures, what I personally used to do was, during the lectures, I used to pay complete attendance. I used to sit on the first bench. I used to pay complete attention to what the teacher is telling me, what the teacher is teaching, and I used to actually memorize things and actually understand the concept so well that I didn't have to come back home and revise the whole thing. So you'll have to focus on your teaching also in such a in with such focus, so that you don't have to keep revising the same thing again and again. Now, after coming back home or after the college ended, we had complete time to work on our project. Later, when we had to develop more and more projects, and the time constraint was there, so that time I used to bunk lectures.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that just bunk lectures and keep working on projects. Studying for your exams, studying the subject which you have, it is also important. But I think that if you have the capability of self-studying, which definitely takes less time. Like if a teacher is teaching in a class for 1 hour, he will cover a few topics. But if you are studying dedicatedly for that 1 hour by yourself, I think you'll be able to complete much more topics
Right.
as compared to the teacher, because the teacher has to teach multiple students, right?
Right.
But when you are studying on your own, you can cover up things faster. So I used to do that in the second semester of first year and first semester of second year. So that is how it went. Another story was that we were called by IIT Madras for Shastra event to exhibit our product, the traffic management drone.
Wow.
And it was something of that sort, that the event was clashing with the exam date, like our university exam dates.
Okay.
So we had actually cancelled our tickets, and by God's grace, what happened that the exam preponed, and last exam was matching with the first day of Shastra event. Like we finished our exams, we took the flight in the evening, reached Shastra by midnight, and next day we were on in the exhibition. So these things happen. You have to think of like something. You have to be lucky. So I think if you're working hard, then luck will always be in your favor. So these were the difficult times which came. The second problem, which this is not in your question, but the second problem which I faced, and I think many of the students face, is that like we didn't have drones in our syllabus. So when we started researching, we had no reference at where to start from, because even the college faculties had no knowledge about drones. Similarly, not just drones, there could be multiple projects which are not being taught in the engineering subject, but they are you have to work on them. Try to connect with industrial people
Mm-hmm.
who have been working on these things, and
Mm-hmm.
try to get in as much information you can from them,
Right.
because they have the actual experience and actual knowledge of such projects.
Right.
So these were the things which I would like to say in this question.
Okay. Yeah, that was pretty, like you told everything which a student should know. And it is pretty challenging as well. And as rightly said, that you have to manage both the things, because in
Exactly.
college you just get theoretical knowledge, and you'll have to use that
Exactly.
knowledge to make it practical. So for that, building a team, building few projects is something which will always help you in improving your knowledge, or improving the quality of knowledge which you gain in college. So that is something really important. Now, coming to other part,
Exactly.
like you told about what students should do. Could you also please briefly tell us what a student or young professional who is trying to get or start their own startup should do? How should they go about that thing? Should they try for an incubator if they have any idea, or how to start or how to plan things?
Okay. So incubation, it helps a lot. Like we are incubated at multiple incubation centers. So these incubation centers, they provide a lot of knowledge and they give good mentorship to the startup. So as of now, we are incubated at MIT, AIC MIT ADT, that is Atal Incubation Center, MIT ADT, and PCSIC. So PCSIC is Pimpri Chinchwad Startup Incubation Center. Now these incubation centers, they have played a big role in our success, as they provide us with good guidance, good mentoring, and industrial knowledge. Now if you see, we are engineers, we don't know much about the financial part.
Right.
So that's where the incubation centers, they play a good big role, and they actually teach you how you have to start the business. Because most of the entrepreneurs, they make a big mistake by making projects which are like the projects are good, but are they actually required in the market?
Mhm.
So entrepreneurship means how you make money by
Right.
using your idea. So if, even though your idea is good, but if no one is willing to buy or give you money for that idea, it will fail. Eventually, it will fail.
Right.
So these things, these clarifications, incubation centers will help you to actually put your idea and portray your idea to the public, so that they will actually pay you for that idea.
Okay.
So this is the financial part. The other part is the legality. So again, we are engineers, we don't know much about the legal part. So incubation centers will help you in incorporating your company. They'll give you guidance. They'll give you different persons, industrial persons, who will help you in actually incorporating the company. They will help you how to get the GST number, how to apply for PAN card. A lot of such things are there. So incubation centers definitely help the startups. The other question which you asked was, what was the question? I forgot. Sorry.
Okay, so it was related to the same question. Like you answered actually both the parts, but
Okay.
it was like how to go with the startup. Like, what should one a student or a young professional who is planning to go with their startup or start their own venture? How should they proceed?
First thing is you should have an idea. If you have an idea, there has to be a problem. So just look around you and identify a problem. You once you find the problem, you have to think of a solution. Now, that solution is the idea. Now once you have that idea, you have to validate that idea. Now, there are a few steps to validate the idea. You have to talk to different people who are facing the similar problem, and if they are, ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि only you are facing the problem, others are not. In
Right.
that case, your product will not be a successful product.
Mhm.
But if others are facing the same problem and your solution impresses them, that correct, this idea can solve our problem, then your idea is validated. After that, you have to start working on the prototype. Okay, so prototype is the basic first model of your product, of
Right.
your idea, where it is a proof of concept, basically, that
Mhm.
yes, by some means this product will achieve the following output.
Mhm.
Now once that is done, you have to make MVP. MVP is minimal viable product. MVP is something which you will give it to your customers or people who are facing the problem, and you will take feedbacks from them. Okay, so you cannot just accept that only you with your idea can solve everyone's problem. You'll have
Mhm.
to take feedbacks from the customers who are going to use that product of yours, and you'll take feedback from them, and you will customize your product in that way. You'll make changes in your product. So after testing, only then you can actually bring the product in the market. So these are the few steps which one should follow before actually doing a project or like starting a business. Because what many people do, what we did actually, we also made the same mistake.
Mhm.
And something like we completed the project first, and then we tried to enter the market. which is a wrong part. But luckily, that was a necessity of our product, so we could survive that. But a lot of time, what happens that people make the product, the complete product, then they approach the market, and no one is willing to buy that product. So the whole time, the whole money they have invested in developing that product, it goes down the drain. So
Right.
this is one mistake I think people should try and avoid.
Yeah, so
So
that was
you have to follow the guidelines and the basic rules of validating your idea and coming like from idea to a product. You have to follow those rules, and they are not rules; they are just guidelines to make a successful product. So if one follows that, there is no way his product can fail.
so although these points seems very basic or very natural, but most often than not, everyone just overlooks these things, these small intricacies or these small things which should not be avoided. And thanks for bringing out all these things so that all the young entrepreneurs can like have an idea of how to approach or how to tackle the problem. Now coming to the end, what can we expect from CerebroSpark in the future? What are products, services, innovations can we expect in the near or coming future?
So I'll just say that in the coming years, you can see CerebroSpark in all the leading sectors in India as well as abroad. So I'll not be disclosing the products which are going to come, but I can assure you that we will be in all the leading sectors with a good remark and good feedback from the customers. So I think in the top five, maybe drone startups in India in coming years.
Oh, that's the confidence I want to inculcate. I wish you all the best for your endeavor and for your future plans.
Thank you. Thank you.